So, episode number 7. These are flying through fairly quickly. Happy days. This is all getting good. Today I have Steve. Steve is a pal of mine from here in Cork. Steve, how you doing, mate?
I'm flying, pal. How are you?
I'm all right. Just tell a little. We may as well tell them what just happened there. So I was just about to press record there, and it said to me, "Nah, man, you've used all your minutes. Your monthly plan's up. I've been hammering the shit out of this recording. So yeah, just got from 25 a month to 40 a month. So this better be fucking taking off. Let me tell you."
I thought my 15 minutes of fame was gone, mate.
Yeah, mate, I'll bring you back always. You know, we did shit. Yeah, don't tell the bride, man. That's a while back now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It feels kind of like a lifetime ago, even though we should have signed some contract there where we got royalties over it, because I think it's been replayed about 45 times.
Unbelievable! It was when Dennis says to me, Dennis O'Sullivan was flying over to Seattle around. Yeah. And it was on the in-flight entertainment. I was like, "Oh, you're joking me!"
I know.
Yeah, man, good times. But sure, we
should have definitely got something out of that. They got some serious airtime out of you, really.
You got a free wedding out of it, mate.
Well, that's true. You look at it that way. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, because my mother would text me every time it comes on. She's like, "Steve, you're on the telly again."
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
But I think my mother probably thought I was some sort of a celebrity, bless her.
Sorry, man, I just choked in your ear while I was coughing. Oh.
So how's everything going with you?
All good, man. I can't complain. Boys are all right. Sarah's all right. She's taking it well, considering. Yeah. So all good, man. It's we're doing all right. I'm keeping myself busy. They're keeping themselves busy. It's Friday afternoon, so I'm happy out. I finished work for the week, so I can get out of this room there now, which would be good. So So what's the story with you? You've obviously got baby on the way, man. So how is this coronavirus fucking affecting you at the moment, mate?
Yeah, it's mad that we're actually doing it today, because today is the due date, which is...
look at that!
Yeah. So, yeah, today is the due date. She had a midwife appointment on Tuesday, and the midwife reckons it's going to run into next week, which is okay. But in terms of kind of the coronavirus and how it's affecting it, I don't know how much time I'm going to get to spend in the hospital. I think the feedback we've got is that I'll be dropping her off, and then I'll probably get a call to go back for the birth, and I might get maybe an hour or two in there, and then I'll have to bail again. So, it's strange, man. I think the feeling around it is I just want to have the baby now and get the baby home, because
everyone's safe.
Yeah, exactly. But Ash is great, man. She's handling it like a real trooper, not complaining. There's no kind of nerves or anything around it. But it's just kind of really uncertain time, and I suppose the baby on top of that just throws a bit more uncertainty into the mix, But look, you got to be positive about it, right? It's a blessing. So hopefully everything goes well, and we get the baby home, and all will be good.
That's it. And then it's going to be like even grandparents and all that, because I know it's not her parents as first, but it's your parents first, grandkids, right?
Spot on. So she's got 3 nephews. They're based out in Kerry, and yeah, it's kind of tough on her mum, because her mum obviously spends a lot of time in Kerry with them and can't go there now. And it's my mum and dad's first grandkid, and we've been told for 6 weeks there's no visitors.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, so which is tough. And I'd say I video call my mum every day, and she's just it's mad that I can't actually go to the hospital to see my first grandchild, and I can't come down and visit. And I'd say it doesn't get to tears, but I'd say she's a bit upset over it,
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things, man. It's so mad. But when we look back in 20 years' time, I'd be able to say to my kid, "You were born during the craziest fucking time at home,
Yeah. Craziest time of our lifetime.
Yeah, anyway, exactly. Because me and you, even at our age, I never remember anything as severe as this. I never remember
I think 9/11 will be.
9/11, that was the first thing that came into my head.
I think it's more of a big event rather than an actual being stuck in. Like you have World War One, World War Two, JFK. I think 9/11 was the kind of the big one then, when it, or obviously landing on the moon and bits in between. But this is going to be like a World War One, World War Two type event, I think.
Yeah. Well, certainly in our kind of lifetime, mate, I think 9/11 is always the one I go back to as the biggest memory. I can still remember where I was.
Yeah.
But this is a proper mad situation, like, isn't it?
Yeah. How's what, you work from home easy enough?
Yeah, I mean, me and you are very lucky, mate. I think the industry that we work in, and like this has kind of given me a big realization around work and all that, and how lucky we are, because like 3 of my buddies have been laid off. And I was giving out about my job, like, or I was giving out about the job about a week or two ago. Oh, and it was nothing, like it was just petty stuff, that. And she's like, Steve, come on, like, put it into context. You know, there's people, jobs, there's people working the HSE 24 hours a day around all this shit. And I just thought, yeah, fucking hell. And it thought, you know, the way something happens and like something will come into your head. We had this work thing, but we weren't working together at the time, but we had a work thing in Vegas, right? A kickoff.
Yeah.
We were staying in the Hard Rock Hotel, and there was like an Elvis kind of statue, like a kind of memorial thing there. And my dad is a big Elvis fan, and I always still listen to him. And there was a thing, like, there was a little note he had written at the end, and it was like, everyone needs someone to love, everyone needs something to look forward to, and everyone needs something to do. And I was like, oh, you know, I was like, oh, that's cool. But no, I don't know why that came into my head, but it's like,
because we've got nothing to do.
That's it. But like the simplest things that I look forward to now, like I look forward to like get up, have my breakfast, and I look forward to having a coffee in the afternoon. You know, just stupid things.
Yeah.
Go for a walk. But yeah, I don't know why I went on a ramble about that, but I suppose it's just about being
It's relevant, isn't it? It's relevant.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm going to do the old podcaster fella thing now, right? Have you got your laptop on your lap?
Yeah.
Is there like anything you can put it down on for a sec?
Yeah.
Is there like, just because I know we've got no mic, and maybe not that far away. Even is there something next to you, maybe?
Yeah.
And I can just imagine that it's going to get a bit. Yeah, that's good. There we go. I can hear you perfect, and I can still see your beautiful face. So we're all good, bro.
Cool.
Yeah, the sound should be all right there. Again, just when it was on your lap, it seemed to be rattling a bit, and
that's probably me moving around. Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to come across or not. So, geez, check me out, mate. Fucking technical Joe.
Well done. Yeah, well done. Well, this is all like a learning process for you, right?
I'm absolutely bluffing this, dude. Yeah. Absolutely bluffing it. Like I say, I just had to up and get more kind of hours to be able to record on, and I'm trying to figure out. I've got a thing called Anchor, which streams everything to YouTube or to Spotify, and eventually will to iTunes. But I think I could probably do that from SoundCloud. I was only using SoundCloud to begin with because I didn't know of this Anchor. But I could probably do everything from there as well. So it's just, I could probably streamline this process massively.
But it's a long process, I suppose.
That's it. And the social media side of it then is a different ballgame altogether. Like, I'm not social media savvy. So again, this is probably something that can be streamlined as well quite easily. But again, like I say, for me, it was something to do. You know, I've been chatting around doing something about it, like a podcast or something creative, rather than just being sat at a screen for work. You know, I tend to want to get creative. So this is a good format. It's been received quite well so far. So, yeah, man, just fucking drive on.
Yeah, my buddy, actually, he's out in Australia or New Zealand, one or the other. New Zealand, I think, now, because he moved between the two. And him and his 2 buddies who started a football podcast.
I saw it, Pass the Tape, or Who's Got Tape, or something. That was it, yeah. I had to listen to that. Yeah, it's good. But
it's brilliant. Yeah, I put Robbie onto it. Robbie loves it as well. And I love podcasts, man. I need to start getting more into them. And when you asked me to come on this, I was like, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. I know you've been kind of badgering on about it for a long time to do one. So this is the perfect excuse, right?
That's it, just conversations, man. And again, in the current climate and the way things are, I think there's a lot to talk about. And what it is, like, the last few ideas that I had for podcasts were fairly good and I was happy with them, but it's just getting the time for people to sit down for half an hour and have a chat. Whereas now everyone's got the time to sit down.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, right, you're all
I
getting
get
it
it.
now. I'm going to badger everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I've got a few decent things lined up. I've got a couple of, do you know, the people that were caught in Peru, and there was a private flight brought like a load of Irish people back. So there's an interesting story there that I've got coming up next week. It'll be good. So yeah, no, like I've got
Yeah.
loads booked in. So
That's
um,
great, man. Yeah, I love it.
so far so good. Yeah, so far so good. And what are you doing to kind of tie the days over and keep yourself occupied? Obviously, you got the worry of the baby coming, but
Mm.
or the excitement of the
Yeah,
baby coming. However you're looking at it.
yeah.
How you tipping away? How you getting on? What you up to?
Well, it's Groundhog Day, really, man, every day, I suppose. But, like, again, to go back to the point, I think me and you are probably lucky, the industry that we work in, that we're still kind of cracking on and there's still business there, you know?
Hmm.
I think from the kind of social side of it, like, I get up every day, same breakfast, really. Ash gets up after me, then we have breakfast together, so I have two breakfasts. Uh, we
In
try
your
to get
element.
out for a walk every day. We try and not do too much on the telly, but I suppose it's probably a lot of telly. But, like, to give you kind of the breakdown, and this is how boring it is. It's like get up, breakfast, and Ash gets up, we eat together, then we sit down together, we have a bit of a chat, watch a bit of telly. I get back to the kind of work stuff. Then we try and get out for a walk. Then we decide what we're going to have for dinner. Then it's more food. It basically, the whole day evolves around food.
Yeah.
Which
But
is
you
sad.
like food, so that's good
I
for you.
love
Like.
food. Yeah. So that's probably a good thing. But I think, look, it's just made me kind of more of appreciative of everything. Like one stupid thing, like I go to the farmers market every Saturday in Douglas, right?
Mm.
Such a small thing, but no, I don't. I actually just realised now how much I love going down there. You know,
Yeah.
just go out and grab a coffee and grab food, and you run into people, obviously, But aside from that, mate, what's been helpful is that with the baby coming, I suppose there was a lot of things to get prepared, right? So we had to get
Mm.
prepared. I had to put a buggy together. I had to put a bouncer together. All this stuff that was completely alien to me, I'm now a bit more kind of comfortable with, thankfully.
Yeah.
I could put the car seat in Ash's car. My buddy gave us another car seat, so I put car seat in my car. I washed her car, my car. Never washed a car before in my life. But my dad is like an expert car cleaner, so I never really got the chance to do it.
Yeah. Don't you dare leave a streak on that
Car.
window.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's totally different, mate, on a kind of day to day in terms of what we're doing. No, I don't mean different in terms of like we do the same shit every day, but I mean like putting the buggy together and all that kind of crap.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
how are mum and dad, and how are they kind of getting on?
Oh,
And
hey, man, my dad, like I kind of feel sorry a bit for both of them because my mom was meant to retire on the 26th of March.
okay.
Around the start of March, they basically told her go home and don't come back because of all this, right? So, I mean, we wanted to have a bit of a kind of celebration for her, retiring.
She's been there for years, hasn't she?
Yeah, 36 years or 38 years.
Oh, yeah.
My brother and me, it tied in with her birthday as well. So, like, my brother and me wanted to have, do something nice for her, have a bit of a celebration. And obviously that's put on the back burner. And then my dad is like the most active guy ever, has to be doing something, has to be working out in the garden. And I'd say he's a bit frustrated with that as well. But look, I think we're lucky the age we live in from a technology perspective, that we can FaceTime, we can WhatsApp.
I was saying, are you seeing them much, or are you not seeing them at all? Are you staying away? Are you taking it seriously?
Yeah, my mother called him twice, and I stood at the front door, and she stayed at her car at the end of the driveway, and that was it. My dad hasn't been down, and actually, funnily enough, right, 3 weeks ago tomorrow, Ash's baby shower. She had her baby shower, right, but this was just kind of building momentum, from a COVID-19 side, and like people were pulling out left, right, and centre on the Saturday morning. So she ended up having maybe like 10 or 11 people, but we were kind of contemplating, would it go ahead or not? Would we just call the whole thing off? And she was getting a bit upset then, and I felt bad for her because, there was a lot of planning went into it. She had someone coming over doing afternoon tea, and her buddy had flown over from the UK, and they had all decorations, and, there was actually a lot of shit went into it, like money as well.
Yeah.
And people were just falling away by the wayside, and it went ahead, and I mean, it was a great day, but it was a week later, it wouldn't have happened. You know that?
Yeah.
Serious where we're at now. So, yeah,
And is she
it's been a bad time, man, really.
How's Ash getting on really with the pregnancy and worrying about? Is she worried about going into the hospital? Is she cool with it? Is she chilled?
She's cool, man. She was a bit upset the other night because there was talk about whether your birth partner or whatever you call it, who
you go in
might have to be able to go in. And she was a bit upset, man. She was like, I really don't want to do this on my own. But no, I have to say she's been a trooper through kind of everything. There's not really a worry about going into the hospital. I think there was more worry that she'd be in there on her own.
Yeah. You'll have some different view, man, after that, I tell you. If you're in there and you see it, mate, you have a diffdifferent respect for women.
Yeah, what did Robbie Williams say? It's like watching your favourite pub burn down, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, man.
Well, you know it, man. You've been through it all.
Yeah, fun times, mate. Fun times.
So, yeah, it's very... I said this to someone the other day, right? And I know this is going to sound bad, and I didn't mean it to sound bad, but because they're obviously doing the carrying of the baby and they do everything, I don't really feel I've got that kind of emotional connection yet.
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
And it kind of still feels like it's not happening. Like the weirdest thing, there's a room upstairs in the house because, as you know, we only bought the house like 6 weeks ago. So that was enough.
Yeah.
We did up like a baby's room. When I walk in there, I'm like, fucking hell, this is actually happening. You know that?
Yeah.
I still don't feel like it's 100%.
Because it's not in your belly.
It's not, exactly. Yeah. So I think it's going to be the point where I'm handed the child, where it's really going to be like, oh yeah, this is
shit's getting real now, mate.
This is going to happen. So, but it's exciting. Like, it's just a shitty time, obviously.
Of course. And then, how was your brother getting on? Your brother's a guard, right? So, local police and such. So, how's he getting on in terms of what? Have you speaking to him much? What's his day-to-day like? What's his tasks?
So he's usually kind of, so he's in Dublin now. So he was in Waterford, and he got a new gig up in Dublin, and they're pretty much confined to the office where they used to be out on jobs or whatever they'd be doing. But I think the issue is, like, I mean, if one of them get it, like if the guards get it, right, we're up in trouble. So I think there's about 5 or 6 of them in this office, and they, from what I know, they pretty much don't leave from a kind of Monday to Friday. So he still comes home on the Friday. But yeah, mate, in terms of activities, he's up to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I was, and again, I was only talking about it. Like I was chatting with a fella this morning, and we were saying that for the money that they get, the risk that they take on a day-to-day basis is huge. To do that now with this added threat of an invisible fucking virus that can kill you is a scary kind of thought. I don't think I'd be down for that. I'd much rather be sat in an office, mate.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, there's guys, I'm sure there's guys on the front line who are out every day. Like, if funnily enough, we actually had guards drive into our estate here and ask the kids to go in home because there was like a gang of kids out playing football. And, and I thought that was good. But I don't know, from my brother's side, I don't think he's out and about too much, thankfully, because my mother is worried enough about him being a guard up in Dublin, you know.
Yeah. Never mind the fact that to it.
So yeah, but it's crazy. Like, I think that again, mate, I know I'm repeating myself here. I think we're very lucky, the industry that we're in.
Yeah. Do you know what, mate? I was just there running through my head the people that I've had on so far, and apart from Moino, who I think may have an interest, but you're the first person I've spoke to that's got any interest in soccer. So let's have a little let's have a little spin on that, right? So
let's go.
How happy are you that this is going to fuck Liverpool up?
I was just going to say, when me and you want the league fucking cancel and void, right?
Yeah, man, if Liverpool don't win, I'd be so happy. It'd be so funny. Just 30 years and then you're almost there, and then this, I think it'd just be... Again, it'd be horrible for the likes of, we've got friends. I've got a good few friends that I go, do you know what? I hope Liverpool win it for you because you're sound and you've gone through it and you're not, there's others then, and I'm like, I bloody love this.
I know. Like, they've been incredible, like, this year. Like, I mean, just like someone made a good point to me. They've turned the Premier League into like the French league. Do you know?
Yeah.
It's such a gulf, like, in terms of class, but yeah, just Liverpool fans, man, are painful in the whole, I think. So,
but I think, yeah. So I mean, do you think it's gonna? They'll have to finish it at some point.
They have to finish it. Yeah, I think they'll have to finish it. Yeah. Like, I saw it, just from a rugby standpoint, I know that in the English Premier League, Saracens are getting relegated, right? Because of
Right. That was a point thing or a fair play thing, wasn't
salary,
it?
yeah, they broke the salary cap or something. So because they're getting relegated and that's kind of set in stone, the first division team are getting promoted, which I think is Newcastle Falcons, right? Which makes sense because obviously they know that was coming. I mean, I don't think you can give Liverpool the league, right, without finishing it because obviously it puts into question then, well, relegation and championship teams and that.
Yeah.
So they've
I
got
think
it.
it needs to be finished. If it's gonna, like, if anyone's getting relegated or promoted, it needs to be finished. If they can't finish the league, then you need to scrap it. It's that clear there. But how they go about finishing it is the tough one.
Yeah, I think it's just got to be. Yeah, it's just got to be time, right? And I think if you short maybe next season then or something, would it be a case like if it started in, I don't know, if it started back up in September, October, instead of playing 38 games, 19, just play one team or just play a team once?
I think they'll do the two team. I think they'll get rid of the FA Cup. They'll get rid of the League Cup. And they'll just have the Champions League and the Europa League, and then maybe just the league games and get rid of the cups for a year. That will kind of free up a good bit of space. And I think for finishing the season off, they could probably scrap the FA Cup and finish the league off. But again, you might have to run the FA Cup for money value because the money.
That's what I was going to say. Sponsors and that, like,
just scrap everything, I suppose. But. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm glad I'm not making them decisions. If it was me, I'd scrap the fucking lot, null and void. Unlucky Liverpool. That's good. That's exactly what I'd do.
And what do you make of? Sorry, man, for cutting you off. I was just going to ask you, what do you make of like if everything goes back to normal of City next year?
It depends what happens now with this. The Champions League ban. If they get Champions League ban and that's upheld, if it's 1 year, I think most fellas will stay. If it's 2 years, I think we'll lose the likes. We could potentially lose Laporte, Edison, De Bruyne, Sterling, all the fellas in their prime. The youngsters and the older guys I won't be too fussed about. I think they'll all hang on. Yeah. It's those in their actual prime that would want Champions League. If it's 1 year, I think they'll be grand. I think this has thrown everything out. Who knows what's happening? This is. Fellas might be, Kevin De Bruyne might be going, what the fuck am I living in Manchester for? Do you know what I mean?
Do you think
Do you know what I mean? I can live anywhere in the world and play football and be happy, and I'm living in fucking Manchester for a few quid. So, how fussed are people about that now,
Yeah. Maybe this is a stupid question because I don't know, does it even exist anymore? But do you think it kind of gauges the level of commitment for fellas to City?
I don't think there's any level of commitment to any club, mate.
Probably not.
I think the days of like Gary Neville and Paul Scholes and Steven Gerrard and John Terry's, I think them days are dead. I think that it's and dead right. It's a job. Like I used to work with you. You moved on, didn't you?
Yeah.
You need someone with more money and better conditions, then you're going to go and do it. And you think you got a chance of winning, then why aren't you going to go and do that?
Yeah. But I think we probably still have an old school mentality, like not that we're old school, but like growing up in the 90s and 2000s, that you'd want that level of commitment, wouldn't you? You'd still love to have a kind of like stalwarts that have stayed there for 10, 12
years. And I mean, what clubs have? I mean, if you look at, you're a United fan, who have you got? You bring kids through all the time, but is there any of them good enough to stay there for 20 years?
I would say Rashford. Rashford is the kiddie for United at the moment. And like, I would hope, like, obviously my opinion of him might be different to people who don't support United, but I think he can just be world class. I think he's brilliant. And like, he's a Manchester lad, he's a local lad.
That's the thing, so when Barcelona and Real Madrid come knocking on the door, for him, he's going to have more of a tie than if they go knocking for Virgil van Dijk at Liverpool or if they go for Kevin De Bruyne at City. I think if Phil Foden at City, he'll be like, oh, I don't, do I, don't I? Whereas, Kevin De Bruyne, why should he have to stay? Like, what, the likes of even Aguero and David Silva and their commitment to the football or commitment to Man City is amazing considering where they're from and but 300 grand a week in your back pocket will fucking make you stay anywhere, mate.
I know. But you know what? Gary Neville made a good point about them. I think when City really started improving and you were signing Torre Silva, company probably came before that, Aguero. But I think the view or the opinion generally would have been, right, they're going to be here for 2 or 3 years and then they're going to fuck off to Madrid.
Yeah.
So I think they've shown City, they've shown City massive commitment, I think, because you're going to make the money anywhere, do you know?
Yeah.
I don't think they've stayed for the money because you'd imagine they're still going to get the same money at Madrid and Barcelona, but
try and tie this back into the COVID-11 conversation, or not just football, because I think there's listeners here that are going to go, fuck off with your football shit, mate.
That's true. Fair point.
I mean, in terms of commitment to work and commitment to jobs and commitment to areas and stuff, like, me and Sarah have discussed openly now, do we want to see ourselves here? Is there a better place in the world for us to live the rest of our days if this can come at any moment and change everything, Work, it's kind of come to me as what's important and what's not so much important. What about you? What are your thoughts on that? Like, are you still kind of, is work still a big thing for you? I know we're in a very lucky position. I know you've got a mortgage that you've just taken on, so you can't just up and leave. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that, but I mean, what are your thoughts on what's important in terms of work? Is it still ranking where it did?
It is no, mate, but I think that'll probably change when the baby comes, right? So like, I think I just want stability for the next kind of year or so, and obviously, like, COVID-19 doesn't really offer you that with everything going on, right? But I think just like the fact we bought the house, like we're living in Carrigaline now, which is Ash's hometown. Her mom's 2 minutes away, like my mom is 10 minutes away. We got very lucky with the house. We've got a room for the baby. We've got a little kind of playroom set out as well. So I think for me right now, mate, I'm not even thinking about moving or changing job or anything like that. I just want the kind of stability for the next year, so that the baby kind of grows up in the most kind of comfortable environment possible, right? And then you kind of reassess things in a year or two down the line. But yeah, I think this is...
Yeah, you've always been quite a home kind of fella anyway.
Yeah,
I think in the years we've known each other, I'm often talking about seeing what else is out there, and you've never really had a discussion, I'd like to move here or move there, I think some people are just
very
like that,
true, mate. Yeah, I think that's probably come from the family side of it, I suppose, the fact that I've like a lot of buddies here, and I'm so close to my mum and my dad.
That's it, yeah. I always moved around as a kid. I'm like 7. This is actually, I worked this out. This is the longest I've ever lived in one place. I've lived in Cork now since 2012.
There you go, like, you know what I mean? So our upbringings were completely different.
Yeah. 8 years is the longest I've ever lived in one spot. So, Cork, you're now home, it seems.
Yeah.
Until this COVID-19 is lifted and I'm getting back to the sun.
You kept the accent, though. I have to say that's one thing.
I've got the most mongrel accent in the world. Even there, I've got mates from where I was growing up in Yorkshire going, "What is your accent about? I should be talking like this, mate."
Really?
And then, and then there's Galway, and then I was down south for a while, and I was in Essex, and my accent would have leaned towards that way, I think.
Yeah.
Des Bishop did a bit before. It was like about fitting in, and when you move around a lot, you learn to adapt and fit in. And one of the things to do is not necessarily changing your accent, but picking up words and using them words in the accent of that local area. So there's no point me coming up to you and going, "All right, boy."
Yeah.
Whereas if I go, "All right, boy," it's, they go, "Oh yeah, I get that." So yeah, I think it's just fitting in.
But have you adopted lingo from each place that you've lived?
Probably, yeah. And I've certainly adopted accents that have all amalgamated into what I've got now. Like, some people, when I'm speaking to them, they think I'm from kind of the West Country, down Bristol or Bath way or something like that. And I've never been down there ever, So
yeah,
it's an odd one. Yeah, I don't know what the mongrels make the best pets. That's what my mum tells me anyway.
Because I remember when we met, I thought you were like a Londoner.
Yeah, all over the shop, mate.
Yeah,
there we go. And that's why
your culture
for this. Exactly. Yeah. I think it works quite well for this because I can tap into different people from different areas and get bits of info. I mean, I've got a few in Australia there that I'm just trying to sort out time with. I've got one in Edinburgh this evening. Another one in Dublin tomorrow, but I'm trying to get like a guy who's stuck in Peru. So I'm trying to get things a bit further afield. So if you know anyone, and I'm going to put that out there on some of the social media platforms, if you want to have a chat, just and you're in a place, we'd like to hear what it's about. I think Doyle might be a good one. Owen Doyle, what do you reckon?
Yeah.
Where's he based now? He's Japan or China? There we go. Doyle, I'm coming for you. Cool. Well, listen, Steve, we got to the half-hour mark, mate, and we only took about 5 minutes of football. That's not bad. First bit of football chat. I'll put that in the content. If you get to the football chat and you're getting bored, it only lasts for a couple of minutes. But yeah, no, really cool. And listen, best of luck with the baby. Send my love to Ash.
I will, of course.
Obviously, keep us updated. We'll go out to wet the baby's head when we can. We can virtually do that these days. I
party, yeah.
have a virtual house party, mate, and a load of drink, and cool.
No, thanks,
Listen,
man. I'm delighted.
Yeah, man.
This.
Yeah, something to do with it, mate. Something to do.
Love it. Yeah, love it.
Cool.
Good luck with
Listen,
it, man. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, and thank you again. And listen, best of luck with the baby. Stay safe. Send love to everyone. And when the baby's born, you let me know. I'll let the people know if anyone's listening. Cool. Peace out. Stay safe.